Hi, what's poppin'? It's your boy Big Rich, Queens, New York City, where we get busy. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in, wipe your feet on the rug, throw some smoke in the atmosphere. I just slid up some blue candy gelato. Closest thing you'll ever get to smoking blueberry cream pie. Delicious. Of course, we gotta thank my boy Luigi Mealy, LTC Nutrition and Performance. DM or email to join. Health is wealth. Let him set you straight. This next story coming out of CosaNostraNews.com by my man Ed Scarpo. Salute to you, sir. Son of Gambino Wiseguy, who masterminded killings of mob social club robbing couple, pleads out in Long Island Railroad overtime scam. The son of a notorious Queens-based Gambino capo pled guilty earlier this month to participating in years-long overtime fraud scheme that cost the MTA a small fortune. Frank Pizzonia, son of Dominic Skinny Dom Pizzonia, is one of 5 Long Island Railroad workers who federal prosecutors charged with conspiring to file for inflated overtime pay for work they didn't do. That's the American way. We all want to get paid for work we didn't do. Pizzonia initially pled not guilty and was to face trial later this year, but changed his plea. Prosecutors reportedly are seeking a 12 to 18-month sentence for Pizzonia, more than his co-defendants, the Daily News reported. Pizzonia, 54, was approved of 3,780 hours of overtime in 2018 on top of his regular 40-hour work week. He earned $305,000 that year, making him the MTA's 29th highest paid employee. Pizzonia is scheduled to be sentenced on May 4th. John Nugent, another LIRR worker convicted in the same scheme, was sentenced to 5 months in prison last year for conspiracy to commit federal program fraud. Co-conspirator Joseph Balestra was sentenced to 3 months after pleading guilty to the same charge earlier this year. The 2 other co-defendants, Thomas Caputo and Joseph Ruzzo, also have pled guilty to conspiracy to commit federal program fraud and awaiting sentence. Pizzonia skipped his overtime shifts, according to prosecutors, who also charged that Pizzonia, who was hired by the LIRR in 1988, and others repeatedly covered for one another's absences from work. The 5 defendants will pay restitution of more than $100,000 as part of their sentences for the scheme. Frank Pizzonia's alleged crimes are nothing when stacked up against some of the alleged misdeeds of his reputed capo father, who was among the wise guys who once operated out of the infamous Ozone Park-based Cafe Liberty Social Club, which Gambino soldiers Anthony Fat Andy Ruggiano Sr. and Anthony Tony Lee Giareri founded in the mid-1960s. In 2007, in federal court in Brooklyn, Judge Jack Weinstein slapped Skinny Dom with a 15-year sentence for masterminding the murders of the Uva couple, the married couple who robbed Mafia Social Club, including Skinny Dom's, which they hit twice. The jury had cleared Pizzonia of pulling the trigger in the double homicide. Judge Weinstein said the government had proven the murders by a preponderance of evidence. The judge was referring to what prosecutors described as a split in Skinny Dom's personality. A church-going family man on one hand, a cold-blooded homicidal murderer on the other. Said, if the defendant's life were to be portrayed by a TV show or movie, it would require a split screen. On one screen, they'd show a courtly, well-dressed, polite, and soft-spoken gentleman who is a fine neighbor, devoted to his family and generous to his friends. On the other side of the screen would simply be shown a hardened criminal, a lifelong member of a vicious gang of bookies, loan sharks, extortionists, and cold-blooded murderers. The prosecution claimed that Skinny Dom had sought approval for the Uva hit from Gambino acting boss John Jr. Gotti, who provided it, supposedly after getting confirmation for the deed from his father, Gambino boss John Gotti, who at the time was in prison at Marion. Gotti died in 2002. John Jr. and Bonanno boss Joseph Messino met to settle the dispute over which crime family actually carried out the killings after the Bonannos tried to take credit. Jr. argued that Skinny Dom had done the work, not Bonanno wise guys Anthony Donato and Vincent Vinny Gorgeous Basquiano, who became Bonanno acting boss after Messino's last arrest. Turncoat Bonanno underboss Salvatore good-looking Salvital told jurors that Gotti told Messino, "That was our work. We took care of that. Our little Dom did it." No less than 2 films debuted on the big screen in recent years to tell the true life story of Thomas Uva and his wife Rose Marie, who together robbed mafia social clubs in Little Italy, Queens, and Brooklyn, a crime spree that ran from the summer of 1992 to Christmas Eve of 1992, when they were both killed. In nearly every robbery, 21-year-old getaway driver Rose Marie waited in the car while Tommy, hefting an Uzi, walked into the clubs, the doors which were unlocked. Tommy, 28, would tell the men inside to put the cash and assorted jewelry into the bag he provided. Sometimes he reportedly told the wise guys to drop their pants just before he sprinted to the car. That's smart. Drop your pants. One night, as the couple made their escape, the victimized wise guys couldn't help but express their admiration for Rosemarie's skill as a wheelman. During another Uva heist, an angry mobster, in the process of placing his cash into Tommy's bag, told the young stick-up artist that he'd eventually get what was coming to him, death. To which Tommy replied, "Everybody dies." In all, the couple knocked over at least 5 social clubs, some of them more than once, including Gambino Capo, Joseph Joe Buff Carraro's Hawaiian Moonlighters, a.k.a. the Andrea Doria, in Little Italy, as well as Jimmy Brown Fela's Veterans and Friend Club in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. The couple also hit no-name joints on Bath Avenue, including one owned by then Bonanno consigliere Anthony Sparrow. The Uvas weren't naive kids who dreamed about being outlaws. They both had been around the block more than once. Both Uvas were ex-cons, and one or both had a drug habit during the spree, some reports claim. Drug addiction would explain a lot. Tommy supposedly had been a mob buff who attended the trials of some mob figures, including John Gotti. The end came abruptly for Bonnie and Clyde in broad daylight on a busy street in Ozone Park on the morning of Christmas Eve 1992. 2 shooters opened fire on each side of Uva's Mercury Topaz as the couple sat at a red light at the intersection of 103rd Avenue and 91st Street, Queens. Rose Marie was found with more than $1,000 on her, and cops suspected the couple likely were on their way to do some last-minute Christmas shopping. Tommy was found with a list of wise guys' names and phone numbers. Law enforcement knew about the duo and their high-risk shenanigans and suspected the Gambinos and or Bonannos were behind the murders. Still, no one was charged in the case until years later in September of 2005. The robberies were such a sore spot among the mobsters involved, according to FBI reports and law enforcement officials, that the Gambino, Bonanno, and Colombo crime families had argued over which brigada should have the right to whack the married couple. After the Uvas were slain, the Gambinos and Bonannos argued over who should get credit. Gambino wise guy Ronnie One-Armed Tuccio was also believed to have been involved in the hit. He is serving life in prison for racketeering and associated crimes. Why would they do that? Why would anybody? I mean, one juror approximately said of the Uvas during Pizzona's 2007 trial. You live crazy, you die crazy. Great story. Nice way to lead in from the kid pulling the overtime fraud into a nice blast from the past. You know what I'm saying? Luigi Mealy, LTC Nutrition and Performance, thank you for sponsoring today's video. DM or email to join. Health is wealth. You hear me there? He'll get you straight. Mob Story, Season 3. Of course, we have to thank Ed Scarpo for the great article from Costa Nostra News. You know where you'll find the link in the description box of the video, as usual. Mob Stories. Like, comment, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let me know what you're smoking on. Like I said, Blue Candy Gelato. If you could top it, let me know. Let me know what city you're smoking from. Big Rich. Business.